And we now talk to infectious diseases expert Dr. Edsel Salvaña. He's also a member of the Health Department's Technical Advisory Group. Good morning, Dr. Salvaña. Thanks for taking our call.
Yeah, good morning, Ria. Good morning to everyone who's watching and listening.
Well, Doctor, as you just heard, the WHO said that COVID-19 is well on its way to becoming endemic. It just couldn't say when. So what are the signs or indications that COVID-19 is becoming endemic here in the Philippines?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of signs, actually, that's showing it's endemic. The first is that your cases are actually manageable, meaning they don't overwhelm your healthcare system anymore. Second is that, we're able to control outbreaks because there's a high level of what we call population immunity. Not necessarily herd immunity, but what happens is because there is some immunity in a large portion of the population, even if there are these small outbreaks, they don't go as far as what we saw last January. So, and then finally is the overall societal impact, where if you remember, like 2 years ago, we were locking down. And now we're able to pretty much stay open, even if there's low-level transmission. It is more or less controlled. It's been staying below 1,000 for pretty much the whole of March. So these are signs that endemicity is there. It doesn't mean that because it's endemic, no one's going to die. In fact, like TB, dengue, these are all endemic diseases, and people continue to die from them. And I think that is why WHO says that it is kind of a tragedy that we weren't able to eliminate it.
Right. It's about managing it, controlling it, and not so much eradicating it. But for you, Doctor, you've stressed over and over again the importance of vaccination, as well as the medicines that were developed in the fight against COVID-19. What do you think about our vaccination rate? How does that stand? And what else do you think should be done to turn COVID-19 into an endemic virus?
Right. So our vaccination rate now is, I think the last report was about 75% of people fully vaccinated. There's a smaller proportion, obviously, who are boosted as well. And we do recommend boosting for anyone 18 and above right now because we see more breakthrough infections with Omicron, which is the dominant variant right now. However, even with just the 2 doses, we are seeing a lot less severe disease. It decreases your risk of dying by tenfold. So that's really significant, and it's really important that we have that as a fail-safe. On top of that, we do have medications that are effective in preventing death and severe disease. So this is in addition to the vaccination. Plus, of course, people continue to use their masks. So I think that we do have the tools to keep this low and remain open, but we still have to be vigilant because if we do not continue to be careful, especially, these rallies are making me really nervous, we could very well see a spike.
Okay, you've been talking about boosting. There's talk on the possibility of a yearly COVID-19 vaccination. What are your thoughts on that? Is it even something that's doable or sustainable?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's certainly a possibility, like what we do with the flu, especially if we keep seeing these variants come up, and they're going to have to update the vaccines the same way that they do with the flu. However, at this time, there's still debate on whether we need a 4th dose in the first place, because it really depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to decrease the risk of infection, or transmission, that's a higher bar to clear. But if your objective is to make it like the flu, where the death rate is 0.05 to 0.1%, with the vaccines that we have, as long as we have a good amount of coverage, we're already there.
All right. And for clarification, Doctor, when you say endemic, what exactly does that mean? Does it mean that the virus is contained safely in a particular place?
Well, no, it doesn't mean that it's particularly safe. What it means is that it's predictable. And predictable meaning that, for instance, we can predict, with the flu, that this is flu season. With dengue, for instance, it's what we call hyperendemic. There's actually transmission the whole year round, but we do see some spikes during the rainy season. So it's like that. Now that if we're going towards endemicity, we'll know which months we expect that COVID is high, which months it's low, and we also are able to adjust our healthcare system to be able to cope with these increasing cases, and we do have the medications to deal with them.
Thank you so much for that. That was Dr. Salvaña, Edsel Salvaña from the DOH Technical Advisory Group.